thank you to our witnesses for helping us to give added context to the challenges surrounding fentanyl and this deadly crisis facing our communities every single day. And to the families here today, it's heartbreaking to stare out at you and see the faces of those that you've lost. I know it's no district is immune to this, and no spouse should lose their spouse, no sister should lose their brother, no parent should lose their child. And we are going to do everything we can to continue to tell your stories and magnify that pain, because pain means action, and that is what our committee is going to be focusing on going forward. And that pain lies directly at the feet of the Chinese Communist Party. It could not be clearer from the testimony we've heard today. This is not a new statistic or a new headline, but the impact in my state of Iowa is widespread. There is no single community that is untouched in some way, including my district. And I just wanted to share, obviously you're here to share your stories, and I wanted to share one from my district too. In Dubuque, Iowa, in November of 2022, we had Iowa Special Agent Molnix. He was driving through a Walmart parking lot with his son one day. He observed a young woman frantically attempting to render medical aid to her friend. Special Agent Molnix approached the vehicle, and they noticed the 25-year-old woman in the car was unresponsive. She was a pale bluish color. She had saliva running from her mouth, and she appeared to be suffering from an opioid overdose. Now, this case has a better outcome. Special Agent Molnix administered Narcan, and the young woman regained consciousness miraculously, and she was transported to a hospital by an ambulance, where she stated what she had taken was, she thought she took a Percocet pill at a friend's house. It was ultimately identified as Blue M30, determined that that pill contained deadly fentanyl. And without Special Agent Molnix, it is safe to say that that woman's outcome would have been different, and she would not have survived that potential overdose. So this is the best outcome that we could have hoped for, but so many are not as lucky to have someone like Special Agent Molnix show up and save their life. This lethal substance, originating predominantly from illicit Chinese laboratories, has wreaked havoc on all of our communities, devastating families and taking countless lives. And the PRC must be held accountable for this murder, for every American life that they have taken from pumping illicit fentanyl into our communities deliberately. And since they are the principal source of this fentanyl flooding across our southern border, killing thousands of Americans every year, we know that they are helping also support the cartels. Money is a lifeblood of the cartels, and the CCP's organized crime continues to use them and enable them to traffic that fentanyl and other deadly drugs into our communities. So, Mr. Barr, Mr. Donovan, Mr. Lucky, I'll pose this question to all of you. What strategies are being implemented to prevent the potential smuggling of fentanyl by Chinese nationals specifically entering the country?
Well, interdiction or stopping the distribution of fentanyl has to be a layered approach. You know, our last resort is in the neighborhoods and street distribution. We stop it at the border. We try to stop it coming up on the sea routes, and we try to stop its transshipment across the Pacific and so forth. But the most, and I think why I think that this hearing is very important and the report is very important, is it focuses the spotlight on the place that we can have the greatest impact, which is the production in China. Mm-hmm. It's one that is the weak link in the
stop
chain.
It at the source first.
Yes,
and then focus our resources here at home on prevention from it getting across the southern border. Is that fair?
Right. I think you have to do all of the above, but I think the one that is most cost-effective and by far the most effective, is stop it at the source. And in the realm of synthetic drugs, we have to remember that if you're not worried about safety, then there's no limit to human ingenuity to create dangerous substances. So fentanyl is not a one-and-done problem. There'll be generation and generation of synthetic drugs that are not responsive to Narcan and other things. Nitazene are coming in now. I have heard from major cities that they are now seeing that wave to build. Mm-hmm. 2 years from now, this hearing would be on nitazenes, which are not responsive.
Yeah, they will innovate to find a way around all the good work that we do to try to stop
That's
it.
why we have to stop the synthetic drug problem in the countries that have the industrial base to do it, and that's China.
Mr. Donovan, can you elaborate a little bit on the DEA's role, specifically with working with other agencies like CBP and trying to stop it as it's coming into the country?
Yes. So it goes back to what I said earlier. I think the choke points make the most sense for us as a nation to focus in on, clearly, as AG Barr said, first being China, the chemical industry there. But then in Mexico, you have the ports. You have the clandestine labs where the chemicals are converted into fentanyl and methamphetamine. You do have the border as another choke point, and social media as another choke point. Those are focal areas for law enforcement to pursue. DEA has been in this space for a long time and has been very much laser focused on Chinese chemical industry. Goes back 20 years with ephedra, monomethylene used to make methamphetamine. And so it's gotten heightened because of fentanyl and obviously the crisis that followed. But it is a top priority of DEA, and they work across all government agencies to share intelligence, to coordinate efforts, and pursue and hold those criminal groups accountable.
Thank you. And I'm out of time, so Mr. Chairman, thank you again for all of your great work on this committee. We will miss you, and I yield back.
Thank you. Mr. Jimenez.